Have you ever had that moment when you wake up from a bad dream and then you give a big exhale and a rejoice because it was just a dream? Well, today we're going to explore what happens when we wake up into our grief every day and we realize that it is our reality, not a bad dream. My name is McRogers, and I'm a grief therapist who supports grief through my private therapy practice and through this YouTube channel. YouTube is all about numbers and the algorithm, so if you could please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications, then YouTube will recognize that we are a community dedicated to doing grief differently. In two of my recent videos, we explored the quest for sleep while grieving. I will link to those two videos at the end of this one. But right now, we're going to explore what happens if you have actually fallen asleep and you wake up into your grief every damn day. Grief has a 24/7 presence. Sometimes only sleep gives us respite, especially in the early days. So imagine that you have fallen asleep and you are in that foggy little twilight zone between sleep and reality. Then, before you can actually process anything, the weight and the starkness and the depth of your loss lands on your chest and in your heart and on your brain. Waking up goes instantly sideways, and the shite begins all over again. I remember those micro moments of glimpses that what I'm remembering in the morning is simply a dream into the faceplant of, no, fuck, this is real. This is my reality. They really did die. Can any of you relate to this awakening moment? If so, please leave a comment as to what's been a part of your grief experience in the morning. Let's share and normalize this experience for one another. So what wakes us up when we're already exhausted? Grief brings aches and pains and inflammation. So discomfort can often be what awakens us. Next, the sense of needing to be hypervigilant to perceived threats that grief brings. It could be the light of the day, it could be appointments to attend to, it could be a large to-do list. Dehydration might wake us up because we're forgetting to drink our water, or a hungry body that's not been fed because we have no hunger cues to nourish us could wake us up. Waking up from a dream of the loved one that's lost can send you right into your PTSD symptoms. So what are the implications of this happening in your life and in your grief? Having this happen is like emotional whiplash. The reality of the death hits again and again and again, and we end up reliving the shock and the pain again and again and again. If you have slept at all, sleep has meant some respite, and then you enter your heartbreak at warp speed. Waking into our grief sets the trajectory of our day. It means living the day through the filter of loss as the primary reference point. Waking into a grief freefall daily reinforces our state of mind that grief brings, that we have no control. And that's a shocking state to wake up into. What might have brought us motivation or meaning or belonging in the past no longer is likely accessible to us. So please don't anticipate old reference points to serve you. Prayers, trust, hope, working out, movement, connections and conversation, and creativity may no longer hold any rewards or attractions for us in our mornings. So what can we meet this morning experience with? Create threads and actions that reflect safety and predictability. Make some patterns or routines that reflect this. As impossible as this might seem, get out of bed, even if it just means moving to the couch. Moving our body invites in the possibility of moving our mind. Please avoid staying in bed, as it associates your trauma with being in bed, and we know how critical some sleep is in order to have a relationship with your grief. Try to create any semblance of a morning pattern or routine. Morning patterns help with predictability, and therefore our bodies and our minds can let their guard down just a little bit. Our routine can be as simple as brushing our hair, brushing our teeth, washing our faces, and drinking a glass of water before coffee or tea or any other substance you may choose to start your day with in your grief. These simple but not easy actions can serve to remind our head, heart, and body of what we do have control over. Have a pen and paper handy. Do a morning brain dump. Write down all that it is that you feel you need to track, to complete, to respond to answer to. Putting it down on paper helps to outsource the task of remembering. We no longer have to hold them all in our brain. Release ourselves of that task of remembering when our brain can't possibly remember as we're grieving. The risk of not creating these themes in our mornings is that grief reactions then get mistaken for grief responses, and they then become habits. I clearly remember, after some trauma, a time of not being able to sleep unless the television was on. There is no doubt in my mind that this has formed my challenging sleep habits to this day. I often cannot sleep until there is some background noise. Let's share experiences of waking into our grief. What has been challenging for you? And please share with us what has helped. Mornings and grief are a challenging combination, so we can all learn together through our comments below. The next video I am posting is an offering of how to meet our grief in the mornings. It's a reset, so to speak. I have been researching and experimenting and practicing myself. So be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you'll know when I'm able to post that video. In your earliest waking moments, I send to you kind thoughts, kind words, and a kind heart, as these morning moments may actually be your hardest moments of the day. Thank you for watching, and take good care.